There you go. I think that's running. It's all running. It's all running good. Marvellous.
Testing out my strength here.
Testing it? What?
My strength.
Your strength? Oh, you're testing your strength. Yes, I've got no strength. So with the English couple, we're a couple.
We're a couple and we're English.
Yes, so that's hence the name.
It's a bit self-evident, I think.
And I don't know whether we're quintessential English in any way, but we're English for ourselves, aren't we?
Yes.
So we thought it'd be quite fun just to do a series of kind of couples chats. I haven't been a couple. I mean, we've been a couple for a short time now.
Yes.
And I haven't been a couple. I mean, I've never been a couple because I've been an individual, of course.
You've been part of a couple before, though.
Yes, I haven't been part of a couple for a long time. So actually, you know, even thinking about being in a couple is still new to me. So I don't know if that's a thing that's just a thing, that people spend time becoming a couple and thinking, oh, I'm a couple, whereas you were a couple and you've come straight into another couple.
Yeah, I'm give or take a couple of months, but, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants, and
The heart does.
the heart had somewhere to be.
And we were like that. Anyway, so we thought
We are.
Yeah,
We are like
we are like that, which is lovely. So we thought we would talk about fantasy shopping, which I suppose to me is a bit alien, because I unless it's, I guess, no, actually, I suppose I do a bit of fantasy shopping with cameras and equipment.
Most people do it to a certain degree, but don't realise,
Yeah.
don't coin the word to it, you know, fantasy shopping.
So we've been looking.
Window shopping is one way of saying it.
Yeah, window shopping. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Although
'cause-
there's no windows to look through. Well,
Window-
the screen
the
could be a
screen.
ween.
Yeah.
That ween.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, because in the old days, I mean,
In the old days, back when I was a
back
lad.
when I was a lad, and that is the difference, isn't it? But you couldn't go online and window shop, but you could fantasy, but we used to get catalogues.
Yes.
Remember do you have catalogues?
Yes. My mum used to get catalogues, and I used to have a good old nosy through those. And, Mum, I want that.
It's funny because in my previous marriage, one thing that we used to do, which actually my wife instigated, and I thought it was a terrible thing. Because it was like a license for the kids to print money and for me to spend money. Was she would give them one of these Littlewood catalogues,
Oh, yes.
and the kids
Dun,
would
dun,
go
dun.
with a pen and a big felt tip pen and go, "What toys are you interested at Christmas?" And so at Christmas, about a month before Christmas, you know, they would be just sitting there circling pretty much everything. And you're going, oh my God, you've just, you know, they want this and they want that. And then it's like, well, if you don't get them the things they want, they're going to be disappointed. And the pressure was on, and it was tough.
It is a hard world, isn't it? I mean, that's commercialism for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, there's commercialism, which is the normal, you know, the low key trade between villages and, you know, and things like that. But commercialism these days is so much bigger, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. I mean, you only, you know, and the thing is,
And it's all designed to brainwash you. Buy this, you need this.
exactly the psychology of it.
And I must say, I'm quite susceptible, and I hate that. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah. I mean, I walk into a supermarket. I am your
Blinkered. Boop.
blinkered.
I need that,
I think
I need
it
that.
helps being a man, because I think this is a bit of a man trait.
A bit.
But my dad was a skinflint. Wouldn't spend money on anything, and I hate it that I have inherited that as a trait. So I walk in and I'll see stuff, and the question I say to myself is, can I survive without it? Oh yeah, quite easily. And so, you know, it'll be sweets, treats, biscuits, bling, whatever it might be.
I never thought he'd say that word.
I know, I don't really know what you would call
Sorry,
it. I know.
what did you say?
Bling.
Bling.
Bling. I don't really know what bling is, but sort of sparkly.
Here's a clue.
Oh yes.
Bling.
Bling. But sparkly, you know, things that you think, oh, that would be nice. And of course, it's made me absolute rubbish at buying presents. I would like to buy spontaneous presents for people, but I look at things and go, oh, well, I don't suppose they really would want that.
Well, what's my excuse then? I'm absolutely rubbish at buying presents as well.
Right. Oh, okay. So that's, well, that didn't fly. So anyway,
it didn't fly back.
Fantasy shopping in terms of, because we've been talking about, well, we're a couple, and I'm in a 2 up, 2 down, and you've got 2 kids.
Yep.
And they wouldn't fit here. I've got this business that I'm trying to run on YouTube and, you know, things, and I like a quiet life. So if we were to get together more permanently, which is what we would like to do,
Yeah,
we need a bigger property.
indeed.
And so we've been looking. And of course, also money, like everybody,
Doesn't actually grow on trees.
does it not?
No.
I did a story about
You
that.
did.
I don't know if it's gone out yet. But anyway,
I think.
you've seen it, but the
Yes.
audience may not have seen it. Although I
Yeah,
think that
that's true.
might be out today. Might have been as we're recording this. I don't know when this is going out, by the way. But anyway, whatever. So if money is not an object. But if we had to, we were thinking, well, we might have to move about
Yeah, we might have
out
to
of
move.
the county,
That's right. Move out of the areas that we're used to.
which might upset parents. Not that I've got any parents left. I've put them in boxes and dealt with them. But kids, and you've got parents,
Yes, I've got parents.
and they might be
Thankfully.
a bit upset.
Well, it just would make it, moving further away would make it more awkward for them to come to us and us to them.
To go,
But
yeah.
it's a careful balance, isn't it, of ticking enough boxes that you need to just getting the balance right.
So you've been, I mean, I had a little look, but you've spent a bit more time on it.
I have, but that's because I kind of do use fantasy shopping on occasion as an escapism.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
I understand that. So what have you? So we're not actually going to show any of
No.
the houses and the property
No.
because they're not our
No, we're not
copyright.
advertising.
Yeah, we're not advertising the things, but we can talk about the kind of properties that we've been looking at and the
Yeah.
places that we've been thinking about going. Because they always say move up north or move to the extremities away from cities, and that's going to be your cheapest option for
Yeah,
places.
Yeah.
And if you've got a business that's online, you may not need to have the infrastructure in the city as long as you've got a internet connection of
Yes.
some speed. Which I was going to say most places have, but then somebody will say, I haven't. I'm still on dial-up from, all of that.
I still find it weird that my kids don't know. I mean, do your kids remember those? Or
I
were
think
they just young
I
enough?
think they're just young enough because you had to wait because they were introduced. They were very young when the internet came along. Because I was,
'cause
I was an old mature bloke back then.
Yeah. I was just starting my teens, really.
Don't say that. Shush. You're 78 like me.
No.
You're looking good though for 78 like me. Anyway, so what have you been looking at fantasy shopping wise?
Fantasy shopping wise, well, obviously we need minimum 3 bedrooms.
Yes. Bedroom for you
Yep.
and a bedroom for your 2 children.
Yeah.
What about me? Am I in the doghouse?
Well, I was hoping you'd get to share with me.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Yes.
Um,
So minimum 3 bedrooms. Yeah.
Ideally, we need at least one reasonably large study or studio.
A space. Yeah.
Space.
Which could be an outbuilding.
Yep.
Could be a garage.
Yep.
Could be a lean-to. Could be a shed.
Yep. Or it could just be a large study in the house or a fourth bedroom.
Yeah.
Preferably slightly away from the living space so that
Yeah, so that I don't hear the kids.
Well, yeah,
I mean, so the
so
kids, the noise of the children don't interrupt the production of the wonderful videos.
that's
content.
right. It's just anxiety free that way.
Yes.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
What else? Well, a garden is great. Ideally, we'd like a little bit of land with it so that we can try and be a bit self-sufficient, which would also incorporate into part of the channel.
Yes, because it's something I've always wanted to be able to do is to grow
And me.
food and potentially have some animals. I know there's laws
I mean,
and
I'd love to
regulations.
have loads and loads
Yeah.
of animals. In my mind's eye, I've got a plethora of animals.
Well, I was
But
thinking more like slugs and snails. This is the sort of level of animals.
as long as we can have a few slow worms to keep them at a good level.
Absolutely. No, I was
Some
thinking
hedgehogs as well.
Pigs would be nice,
Yes, a couple of pigs, some chickens.
and maybe a cow
Yeah.
to do that.
There
business.
are complications with that, though, because we'd have to breed her and we'd have to
Oh yeah.
deal with the calf, which is fine. I don't mind hand feeding a calf. Or somehow sharing the milk with the calf as well as
Yes. Yes.
combo feeding the calf.
But anyway, so that's
moving
kind
on.
of a big
Yeah, yeah.
ambition-y thing.
Yeah.
But just to be able to have some animals and grow stuff. Now, I've got, as people who might have seen my other stuff, well, no, I've got a very small north-facing garden, which is mostly taken up with logs, and I've tried growing things like tomatoes and other, potatoes, and it's just not conducive. It's just not ideal.
I mean, yeah, it's doable, isn't it? But it's just
you don't get the sense that you're really growing. It's more like, oh, these bags of potatoes, they just happen to be over there. They're kind of in the way, and then they're growing with the green stuff that comes, the stalks and the flowery stuff that comes out of it. And you just think, I don't know, it's like, oh, it's not really proper when you see somebody who's got a garden and they've got it, or an allotment. But the funny thing, and I can't explain why, I don't want an allotment.
You don't want an allotment,
I
no.
think it's because it's regimented and you're next to somebody else who's peering at you and going, oh, I wouldn't grow them there. And then there's, thousands of others. And it's not your land.
Yeah.
You're only renting it.
Yeah, and it's easier if you're on site.
Yeah.
You can just, I need to just go and get the tomatoes, or get a couple of tomatoes to put on the plate. Or
Yeah, I mean, I know it's selfish because people do have allotments and they manage very well. And
yes,
they come back.
They do.
And it's not that side of it. It's just I know that I probably won't be as engaged if
it's not right on the doorstep.
If I can peer out the window and go, oh blimey, look, the wind's up, I better just go and do such and such to the thingamajig.
I mean, there's also the worry side of it, because you're not there, you're not able to secure it properly yourself.
Exactly.
You can't, there's loads of restrictions that you can and can't do.
And if you've got animals, if you've got animals going, and pigs are good.
At turning the ground over.
Turning the ground over. So, that would be great if you, at the beginning of the thing, and you think, well, I don't want to do the digging, we'll just let the pigs in this area.
I wonder if we could rent out a pair of pigs to
I'm sure
allotmenteers.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
Have them for 2 weeks and turn over your plot.
put a pen round, as long as nobody nicks them and slaughters them.
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah.
Turns them into
And
bacon.
slaughter my piggies.
Can't do that.
Don't even have them yet, but don't slaughter them.
So we've got, what have we got? We've got garden that has space not only just to sit out and enjoy, but also a garden, it would be nice with this, that doesn't look over, that isn't blocked by skyscrapers, flats and other people. I mean, I know in a very busy and overcrowded country like England.
It's a very tall ask, isn't it, to have a non-overlooked garden.
So that sort of thing is a desirable thing that you go, yeah, I'd like that. Who wouldn't? Why should I feel that I shouldn't aim high and have that? So that's a tick. But that then means, that's very expensive. And to do that in Sussex, probably not going to happen. Especially the size of the house as well.
Yeah. So I started off my search, England-wide, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, because we're English.
Yeah, and we've just got to get
you
an
ended
idea.
up in south of Mexico.
We've just needed to get an idea of what is out there, what is available, what comes up, and where are good areas. And I've actually found that there's sweet spots in between the counties and stuff, like in out of towns and villages,
right,
and sometimes on the outskirts and stuff, where you're more likely to find a slightly dilapidated larger property with a decent sized garden, and sometimes a little bit of land as well.
Well, that sounds right. I don't mind a dilapidated. I mean,
that'd be ideal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, my house is already dilapidated. I'm used to living in leaky roof, windows that leak air. And the wind races through it. As long as I can take my Essie, my wood-burning stove.
That was the next thing I was going to say. I mean, that is a key thing, isn't it? That's a massive part of your life, and it's a massive part of the life that I want as well.
And I love cooking with the wood-burning stove, and so that means that where we go needs to have a supply of cheap wood.
Yeah, and preferably chimneys in place.
And chimneys in place, although you could put a chimney.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a massive difficult thing, but it does help when I'm searching and I see that there's, at least an Arga, if not wood burning.
Well, if people
stoves
have got wood burning stoves, you know that
there's fuel around.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's trees, because I know there's places where there is just in England where there's not as many trees, because we actually in Sussex and Hampshire have more trees here than anywhere else. I understand. Which is why the fuel is relatively at the moment cheap, but it'll probably go up with the fuel crisis.
It's also why I fell in love with trees, flying over the south of England into Gatwick Airport, and just seeing this gorgeous green canopy below. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
All I'd known at that point, was the sand, sea, and
Because
date
your
trees.
formative years, you grew up in Saudi
Arabia, that's right,
They
yeah.
don't have that many trees over there, do they?
No, I mean they have trees, but they're palm trees usually and date trees. Are they the same thing? Palm trees are date trees.
Are they?
Yeah, date trees are palm trees, aren't they?
I don't have no
think so.
idea. I mean, I know what a conker tree is, and it's not the
Because
same
palm
as
trees are a family of tree, isn't it?
Is it?
Anyways,
Mr. and Mrs. Tree. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Tree. It's very nice to see you. You're looking tremendous today. So you found some property,
yes, I've found some properties.
and so give us an example of the type that. So, the budget that we have. I think that my house, as dilapidated as it is, because of where it is, it's a Victorian terrace. It's near the railway station, walking distance, 5 minutes from the railway station. It's seven minutes to the hospital,
20 minutes to the beach.
15,
15
Yeah.
by foot.
20 minutes if you've got children
Yeah,
dawdling along.
that's the one.
You've got the park, which is again 5 minutes down that way. You've got two schools, a junior school and a high school. You've got another high school, which is about 20-minute walk that way.
You've got it all here on the doorstep, really, haven't you?
You've got the town at the edge of the town, and you've got easy access in and out of the town to get on the main road. So here is a really. So I think even though the house is dilapidated, it as a first-time buyers or a mature couple without kids, it's a perfect thing, and it's okay. It's a bit of a doer-upper.
Yeah,
But
most
so
people, when they move into a place, they tend to gut it anyway in this
Yeah.
day and age, and
Yeah.
then re-put their own.
So my kitchen is just unboltable and throw in the binnable, unfortunately, because of the 1940s sort of imagey look of it. It's not a fitted kitchen, for anybody who doesn't know. It's not
Mind
a
you,
fit.
those can be quite flimsy as well, anyway.
Well, they can.
Well,
They-
yours is probably more sturdy than that.
Yes, but mine's
Slide out,
barely
yeah.
not even fixed to the wall. It's just sort of in situ. And of course the Essie will be gone as well. So once the house is empty, it will of course just be a shell, and people can do whatever they damn well like with it. So I think that I haven't had it done, but it's probably worth about 300,000, something like that. And considering I bought it for 46.5,
That's not bad innings, is it?
although I did pay off my ex, bought her out, and of course I have paid the mortgage, pretty much every brick. And
Except that one. No, I'm kidding.
except that one, which is no longer here. It's gone. So with 300,000, just as if I sold this house as it was, what sort of stuff have you found that we could get?
Yes, I mean,
And where? Where are we looking? What sort of areas?
well, I've been looking as far as Norfolk. It's kind of midway between, of Norfolk directly
In East
towards,
Anglia?
towards, is it Cambridgeshire?
Yeah. Petersborough.
Yeah, and Northamptonshire, that sort of area.
Oh, yeah.
But there,
So sort of west, East Midlands.
yeah, there's kind of a
East
bit of
Midlands
a sweet
and East
spot.
Anglia. Yeah.
So that's where I've been looking. I have actually started another little search for West Sussex and Sussex and 40 miles plus 40 miles, just to see if anything would crop up.
Somebody suggested that we could also look towards Dorset.
Yeah,
and go
actually,
west.
Actually, there was one place in Cornwall I spotted, which was very nice and very lovely. But I can't remember what the downside of that one was.
It's in Cornwall. No, not that anything's wrong with Cornwall.
No, we love Cornwall.
People love No, I don't mean that. But the only thing about Cornwall is there's one road in and there's one road,
One road out.
I
It's
mean,
like a lot. That whole end of or corner of England is like the Gosport of Hampshire.
Yeah.
Because Gosport is a peninsula.
Right.
There's two roads in and out, but it's just mayhem. There's nothing there for anyone either.
So it does
So it's
depend
not
if you
actually
want
like
to,
Cornwall, is it?
if you've got to come in and out, you've got that one road. And I know because I've driven in and out to Devon, and that's tough enough. But some parts of Devon is very nice and isolated.
Yeah, there's the Shy Horse Centre down there as well. I think that's Devon.
Be shy of all of that. So there's lots of. I mean, I think there's property out there. For me, the biggest risk, I suppose, is that once you go and you spend your money, if things went tits up,
Yeah. There's no coming back.
Coming back would be very difficult because this house would then be worth, I don't know, say 400,000. By the time someone had done something nice to it, and you think, well, I'll get something on the same value, you probably wouldn't get your money back if you came back.
Thing.
And so that's a big worry at the moment, because I'm sitting pretty in a way because I don't have the mortgage. I paid it all off, and I wouldn't want to. At my time of life, love, I wouldn't want to get another mortgage. So, so it's a bit of a conundrum. But the fun of the fantasy shopping is the key part, is because unless you do the fantasy shopping and you do the research, you don't know what's around.
Exactly, you don't know what it is you might actually be able to do with. It's wonderful just to have my imagination going with it, seeing what we could do with a place. I mean, there was one particular place that was just about in our budget. I mean...
Bit more.
Yeah, just over our budget, let's say. But that had everything we needed, but it would need a lot of renovation. It would need remodelling the inside.
And I guess that's the other thing that one's got to think about is it's all very well going in and saying, well, I've got 300,000, whatever, and here's this wonderful property, but it's run down. Do you then need money to do it up? And if it's grade 2 listed or anything like that,
then you've got to do it in certain ways and use experts,
which cost more money.
Yep.
So either way, it's a challenge.
Which is a shame, because I've seen some really lovely cottages and barn conversions that could have been all right. But again, it's and
the other thing,
that studio space and the land.
Yeah.
Not that we need. It's kind of almost one or other. We could.
Get away with.
Yeah,
I mean, other considerations, of course, is the children and their education.
That's
schools,
right. Exactly.
Schools have got to be fairly close because you've got to get them to and from school, and then what they do, because if you move into an area that you don't really know very well, what are they actually going to do long term? They might go to university, who knows, or they might want to work local, and I don't know whether there's more opportunity in a place like Sussex, where there's a lot more companies, but there's a lot more competition for those jobs, or you're in a more farmy, openy space where there's fewer companies, but there's less competition for the jobs. So it's difficult to know. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that position to have children now, I think, having been through it, but you've not been through it. So,
no. I mean, luckily, the few places that I have thought seriously about and sent you the links for, schools have not been too bad, not too far from them, so I haven't worried too much about that at the moment.
No, I mean,
but because of the nature of what we're looking for, that might well be an issue we come up against.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's very easy to be in the fantasy shopping mode, very starry-eyed about stuff and think, oh, wouldn't this be idyllic? And then you've got to think, hey, you've got this cottage that's right down in a valley somewhere and it looks beautiful like that. But what's it like in the winter? Do you get trapped in by snow?
Exactly.
Can you get out to school? Can you get the supplies? Will Mr. Tesco's come in with his van when you can't get out? Can you grow anything? What happens if if we have an argument? Have either of us somewhere Heaven forbid, somewhere to cool off other than sitting in the snow. So it's like there is so much to think about. I don't think anybody could rush into it.
No, it would be stupid to do so.
It would be stupid. Well, anyway, that's our fantasy shopping chinwaggy chat thing. And
I'm trying to wag my chin as if we haven't been doing that.
No, exactly. So there we go. I'd be interested to know if this format sort of works of us just talking about things that couples talk about. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll find out about the analytics.
Analytics, watch it back. Know if anybody's the slightest interested, or whether it's just another pile of rubbish that we attempt on the channel.
One can but try.
One is very trying.
And very trying,
yes, indeed. Brilliant. Thank you very much. On that note, then, we'll say arrivederci and thanks for the fish.
Thanks for all the fish.
Toodles.